Everyone enjoys getting out on the town for some live music. And there's nothing like going backstage and down the hall for a VIP pass to get inside information and interviews with the bands, singers, and songwriters that you enjoy. Welcome to All Around Town Radio.
Working for the weekend.
Rock and roll is back.
I flip on the blue face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man on there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So all around town radio show.
I love it.
So all around town radio show for the music that comes from my soul. It's the All Around Town radio show. The All Around Town radio.
Whether you like rock, blues, folk, country, or R&B, Backstage Hall Pass delivers you a daily dose of the stories behind the music. And now, here's the host of our show, Scott Hall.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Let me get that off the screen here. There we go. Good afternoon. How are y'all today? Everybody good? Ceris, you good?
Yes, sir. Whatever you say, sir.
You need to quit. Right now. Right now. She's
I don't have an opinion, sir.
Oh my. Am I just going to turn you on to the main screen and I'm just going to sit back and laugh today? I think that's what we're going to do. Welcome.
I'm just an angel.
We know better. All right. I get out my sound effects. Look at all these people coming in to see what's going to happen. I love your pink bow in your hair, by the way. Is it purple or pink?
Why, thank you, sir. I hope you all approve of my new look.
Oh, I'm just going to sit here and take a deep breath for a minute. Rob Paisley, thank you for being here.
Oh,
thank you.
Hello, Marie.
Ed Sawicki. It's a beautiful Tuesday, he said. Let's rumble. Ed, let's get ready to rumble. Craig Ballard in the house. How you doing, Craig? Kareem. Red 5 standing by. Okay. Gina. Hi, Gina. Pink bow, she said. Is it pink or purple? I can't tell from here.
It's whatever you want it to be, sir. Oh, there I am.
All right. So I'm just going to say today, you know, we've been taking a little crap over this show, and I'm going to just throw it out there. So Ceris is facetiously, let me say that 3 times fast, being sicky sweet today because she's offended some people in the last few weeks, and so have I, apparently. So we're sorry. You have an opinion, put it in the comments or call in or anything you want to do. We're welcome. We're welcoming, I'm sorry, to hear your opinions.
The nice thing about opinions is that everybody's allowed to have them and you're all allowed to voice them.
They are. And some of them have been lately and loudly.
And I would love all of those wonderful love letters that you're sending directed to me. I'd love them.
Well, I'll do just a little more than that. I'm going to tell you that I will direct you to Ceris if you send me anything, but I also will forward those to Ceris. So please know that before you start sending anything you don't want her to read. Just keep that in mind. Hi, Kim Cooper.
We are a team, Scott and I. We do love each other. Why, thank you, Greg. Yes, it's my new lovely lady look.
Shane DeMoss is here to see the mayhem. Brandy Evans. Hey, I got to mention something about Shane DeMoss since he popped on here. Let me say that there's a special duo going on tomorrow night and Thursday night, I think it is. Is it tomorrow and Thursday or tonight and Thursday? No, I'm sorry. Wednesday. Hell, I don't know. It's at O'Leary's Pub, and there's going to be 2 nights of Shane and Heath Bowling playing together. The Heath and Shane show or the Shane and Heath show. So, yes. Chris Free says his usual sup.
No, go to Chris's last comment.
I'm trying to get
terrifying. There. I would agree. It is terrifying, and nobody wants this.
I thought the same thing. You know, I've had a few people tell me we've lost them in the last week or two with our show, and they won't be returning. I'm really sorry to hear that, because this is our opinion, you know, and you guys can have your opinion. You have your own show if you want. Do it.
It's crazy to me because of a few words and opinions that people don't want to watch. It's okay. Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
You'll all live. Okay. We'll all survive. We'll all survive.
We're going to make it.
I won't be submissive for long, Greg. I'm about to unleash the beast.
All right. Well, let's talk about something, Miss Harris, today. Okay. You want to?
Yes.
Let's talk about what we said we were going to talk about, and that is bands canceling gigs or musicians canceling gigs. And you know, we'll talk about venue side in a minute if venues cancel on them or double bookings and crazy things like that. But let's start out with, you know, I know it gets under your fingernail beds if somebody especially cancels last minute, because that's a whammy to you, literally.
Here we go. Are you guys ready?
Should I drum roll this?
Drum roll the shit out of this one. Oh, sorry, I swore. Listen, boom, boom, boom. It's not just me, but every time a band cancels a gig, you are completely you're ruining that bar's reputation. It's luckily there's a lot of people that can cover, but sometimes there's not. And I feel so bad for the bars that are constantly getting canceled on, because nobody's going to want to go to their bar. Don't you understand? When you cancel a gig, the bar loses, the bar loses out. They lose money and they lose that reputation of being that venue. And then you just lose business. There's just no way around that. So unless, listen, I understand things happen. I totally get that. People get sick. I get that. Luckily, I've been able to find people to cover, but I'm one of those people that you go to work. You have a job, you go to work. And this is your job. And you're not just affecting yourself or the people in your band, you're affecting the bar as well. And I'll tell you right now, I have stopped booking certain bands because all they do is cancel. Not just on me, but in general. All I see on Facebook is, sorry, we had to cancel this. Sorry, we had to cancel that. And I'm fearful to book certain bands because they're going to cancel. And they don't believe in getting subs. Get a damn sub. No, but the only people that are worried that it's not going to sound as right are the musicians themselves. And I get it. It may not be your best show, but at least you showed up. Because the people in the audience are there to see music. I think
Shane Moss said that. Shane says if he has to cancel, he he volunteers to find coverage for himself. Like if he does a solo show and can't make it, he tries to get somebody to come in and cover. That's a whole other animal. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I agree. I mean, it does kind of fall on the responsibility of the musician to get that show covered. And as Mike Bates said, you have now become the reason basically people are upset because they think the venue is the one that's not bringing them the live entertainment.
It always goes on the venue. Always.
I'm reading all these comments as they roll through.
I understand it's much harder for a lead singer, but if your lead singer can't make it, then it is up to you for you to find a replacement. And then it's up to the owner to agree to that replacement or not. But canceling a gig last minute, I'm sorry. I'm not talking about lead singers, but get a sub. There is no excuse. Get a sub. There are tons of incredible musicians in this city that would love to help out, that would love to play. And I understand it can't always happen, but I'm just going to say it. It's selfish. It's selfish. You are directly hurting that other business. There are two businesses here. You, the band, and the bar. and we're supposed to work together. That is not a team. That is not a team effort. When you cancel, you could literally destroy that. It's could destroy that venue.
And I got to say something too. And we have several what we call groups that people submit to us for the Thursday show. And one day Kevin Cooper popped on there. Hey, Trillions had a cancellation, blah, blah, blah. Can anybody, any band fill it? Within about a half an hour, I see the Kevin McCoy band has stepped in and took that gig. So that's kind of what we're looking for there. And, you know, the venue agreed to it and everything was copacetic for the night. And unfortunately, it is tough sometimes to replace your lead singer in a band. So you need to offer to fill it with another band. I mean, you really do if you don't have anything.
Jason Eldred, it's not really more complicated than that. I mean, I used to manage bands as well, so I've been on that side as well. It really isn't. You try your darndest to find somebody to cover for you. That's your job. I'm hiring you for a job. If you can't do that, then you need to find me a replacement. Let me know right away. Tell me that you're trying to find a replacement. I can find a replacement. I understand things happen. I'm not naive to that. I've had to miss work. I'm not naive to that, but I've always made sure that I had a replacement. Always.
And that kind of sums it up. And I know it's not always easy. It's not easy, like I said, for a band to find a lead singer replacement, because that's somebody who knows all your songs and all those things.
That's hard. I'm not denying
that's very difficult. Hi, Glenn. Thank you for checking in. Who else got on it? Ray Renee. She said she agrees with Shane. Always find a sub. And you know, most people that are reputable musicians and aren't ones that, you know, I could think of 3 or 4 musicians that we see around here that if they ask somebody to sub for them, it'd be like a high-hearted no way, because of the way they've treated other musicians in the past. So networking in your music community is kind of important, I think, also. And being able to call the band down the street and say, hey, we desperately need a band tonight or tomorrow night. Can you fill it? And that's the way it should work. Kathy's saying the same thing. We have so many supporting musicians. I mean, you look even at the whole thing that goes into national touring acts even. And if somebody gets down for a bit, they replace them. I mean, they don't cancel the tour unless it's the lead guy usually or girl.
Jason Eldred, let me say this. There's a lot of people could step in. You're not the only band practicing the same songs. I don't mean to be rude because I love cover music, but a lot of the cover bands in this city play a lot of the same songs. They just do. And if they can't, then just alter your set list a little bit. Maybe you say, listen, I can get this, but I can't play the full these hours. I'll have to cut a few songs out here and there. Or once again, find a replacement. Kathy nailed it. The band is responsible for the entertainment for the night because you were hired. If you can't make it, find someone or a band who can. That's all we're asking. And I understand it seems tough, but imagine how hard it is on us to also find a band when you cancel.
Well, and I've seen you have to do it where you put it out on your page and all of a sudden it's like, we need a band for Friday, our band cancel. It happens to our friends from Froggies quite often as well. And Stacy and Rich, and I see her do it. And it's a shame because
then find a replacement, Jason. You can come up with all of these different reasons of why it's so hard. Then find a replacement. And we're not talking about singers. Just find a replacement. That's what we're asking.
Can I finish?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So what was I don't even know what I'm saying. All right, let's go on. Let's move on and talk about more. There's lots of comments rolling in. We're seeing your comments.
Bingo, Brian. Slide into a 3-part harmony.
Okay. Well, there we go. Don Hudson says, absolutely. Thank you for that. Matt Matheny, how you doing, buddy? We played your new song yesterday. And by the way, on a lighter note today, Matt Matheny's new song is perfect. You're going to have to hear it. Go back on Monday's show and check it out at the end of the show. And did you know, Ceris, that today is National Condiment Day? Condiments.
I love condoms. No, I don't. Condiments. I love condiments. Condoms, I don't.
National Peanut Butter Day. National Beer Can Day. Beer Can Day. What more could we want? I just thought I'd lighten it up a little bit. Yes, Dewey, let's talk about weather. He says, yeah, weather. We'll get into weather cancellations in a minute. That's a whole other animal. And that has to be a decision between the band and the venue as well. We'll get there. What's Shane DeMoss? I missed I see it up here, your other comment.
James,
especially these days when you're booking a whole year by February.
James has a really good question.
Where is it?
What
James
if
Banks?
the venue cancels on the band? I'll tell you what, when I've had to cancel on a band, and it has happened, I think like 2 or 3 times, I have paid the band. Or I've given them a portion.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that up and see what he thought about that. Or I've given them a
portion to compensate for the loss. I do that because it goes both ways. It goes both ways 100%. But if I made a commitment to a band and I messed up and I have to cancel, you bet your ass I'm going to give them some money. You bet your ass I am. Because that's the right thing to do. Billy, again, I will pay that band. I've done it. I think I don't remember who it was, but I've done it. I will pay them some sort of portion.
And so often that does not happen. I will tell you that it does not happen. And that needs to be an agreement between the band and the venue. And oftentimes, I think venues look at the weather forecast. And, right now, if you watch the weather forecast today, tomorrow, they're predicting it's going to be Armageddon here. And typically it doesn't happen. Typically, I've had to canceled one show in my history with you because I couldn't get to you because there was so much ice and snow. I couldn't get them 275. And that was the only problem.
Marcy, I'm with you. I usually find my own bands too, but I like to know that I have an option just in case I can't, because I'm extremely picky with who goes on my stage. However, if I can't find that, then I 100% beyond appreciate the band coming up with an option for me. But I agree,
Marcy, you may need to find a sub for trivia tonight, because after this show, my head may explode. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Pat Riley. Yes, National Marketing Day. Easy, Pat Riley. James Banks says you're amazing for paying people. Thank you, Banks.
That's the right thing to do. It's a business deal. If I'm going to back out, it goes both ways, man. That's why I keep saying this over and over again. We're a team. We're supposed to be a team.
We are. And let's see what Gina has to say here. Yeah, long before she gigged with him, she filled in.
Absolutely.
And that's what friends are for, to coin a phrase of a song. I mean, that's what people do for each other in the music community. And if you're not busy, fill in for that guy, because someday you're going to need him to fill in for you. It's just inevitable. You're going to eventually get sick. And what else we got? Bob Klein. How you doing, Bob? Question for Ceris. Do you
I don't do contracts. I don't do contracts. I think I know. I'm not sure, but I don't do contracts. Maybe I should.
That's a two-edged sword. I mean, you trust the bands you book, and I know you do, because they're tried and tested, and most of them. Very rarely do you end up booking somebody, I think, that you don't have faith are going to show up. So
right. Well, there's a band that I absolutely. Yeah, there's a band I absolutely love, but they're kind of known for canceling, and it scares the shit out of me, honestly. But it's a chance, I just cross my fingers.
And you know what I see too? And I'm going to say it out loud. I see a trend in cancellations oftentimes that it seems to me the further the musician has to travel, especially the solos and duos, I see this happen. The further they're traveling, the more apt they are to cancel. And I hate to put it that way, but it's very noticeable that, I don't want to drive a half hour, 45 minutes there, and I don't want to drive back after the show. And I'm just going to say I'm not feeling good. And, COVID is not an excuse anymore either. I'm sorry. We've worn that out. And many people are saying, COVID, whatever. Get a replacement. Don't just blame it on the COVID and walk away from your gig, because that just can't happen. And I don't want to get into a COVID pissing match with anybody today. No. So please. But
I will say this, there's a lot of people that refuse to get subs. They can, but they refuse to. And they're like, it's just not the same. And I'm going to Edward. He's like, with national acts or regional acts, I do contracts. Well, with those, we do contracts as well. But I will say, even Lita Ford, her last show, she had a sub for her drums. Now, all I'm saying is, if, we can get subs. Like I said to somebody today, it may not be your best show, but at least you showed up.
Thank you, Shane.
That's important. Thank you, Shane. People do not like me. So I'm going to.
The bow makes it. It does.
Well, now I'm an innocent, lovely girl who, is whatever.
Thank you, Kevin Cooper. I agree. Venues under 500 people probably
I
won't be
agree.
in contracts. But on the other hand, there are some bands that want to do contracts. And,
And I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all.
A lot of venues out there now who are, I guess, in the competitive world of booking for the whole year within the first month or two, because they want to grab those band dates up and get those bands in before they get gobbled up by somebody. So a lot of people booking just, for a whole year. So it's really important that you hold each other accountable to that. And, it's like you brought Lita Ford in for New Year's Eve. You had Miss Jackie there. You brought Lita Ford in. It became a great opportunity. Miss Jackie stayed and played and all this fun things. But some venues I've seen will cancel. We stop. Some venues will cancel on bands if they get a better offer. And that's not fair to the people either. That's
not nice.
No, not at all. And what's Marcy saying here? She's had sub bands and there's a whole other issue Marcy and I have discussed in the past where you book somebody and then all of a sudden they bring some friends and they spend more time sitting in the audience watching people play, and you book them and you want them. That's why you book them. And that's a whole nother animal too, about not necessarily playing your full gig and bringing other people in.
Chris right here, you're never going to please everybody, but at least there's a band on stage playing. And I give shit for subs as well, but it's like a joke. I'm like, oh my God, you always have a sub. But I say, like, I'll say that, but at the same time, I'm saying that as you always have a sub, but at least you're here. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bob Klein never plays without contracts. Okay.
And then that's good. Yeah. I mean, I think that's great. I have nothing against that. I really don't. I think you're right. It helps the venue as much as it helps the band. 100%. Depends on what's in the contract, but yeah.
Thanks, Scott Luck. Yeah. And you're not one of those people. There are venues out there who have done this, that at the end of the night, you have to fight for your right to your money. And there are times that happens. And you're not one of them, I know. And there's several out there that always honor whatever the gig price was agreed on. And unfortunately, you had this happen. A lot of your gigs that you booked, you lost all that when your book of face went away. And you had to rebuild all that. So all these messages and you had you to agree on price with people and everything. Unfortunately, that's the price we pay for relying on Messenger sometimes. And it's that can be difficult for real. So happy Tuesday to you, 7 West. You remember 7? Karis, he was there. 7 West.
I missed that guy. Missed that guy. But I also missed him.
What's Chad Applegate got to say? Canceled a few, which you hadn't done in 20 years. Most people I know wouldn't cancel a gig unless they were on their deathbed, honestly. I mean, most of our musicians have played through, and who cares if they've got a gravelly voice or something's going on now? You have heart problems? Yeah, you got to cancel. You got to either try to find somebody or the venue's got to find somebody to get in there. But there's a land of a million excuses, and bands have... Go ahead.
Go. No, you go. No. I'm mouthy. How
many bands have we known over the years who book a year in advance and then break up? And then the band breaks up and you're stuck with this open hole in your schedule because, sorry, our guitar player and drummer went to another project and now we don't have anybody.
That happened to me last year.
Hear that a lot.
Yeah.
And band dynamics, I guess, is a whole nother show. What else we got? I'm glad to hear you say you pay them, though, or at least give them a percentage or something.
I give
for
them
not
a percentage. Yeah, I give them a percentage. Absolutely. I try not to make mistakes because it can hurt the band. I get that, but I definitely give them a percentage or the whole thing if I can afford it at that time.
And Shane DeMoss brought up my next topic. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it because
what is
I've seen that too, where bands cancel a gig in order because they see a more attractive gig get offered to them on the same day. Sorry, we can't play that day because we've been offered to play a bigger venue or something, or we're open for somebody or this or that. And that is awful. You're obligated to that event,
I had somebody do that to me right when I first started opening. I had a couple people do that to me right when they started. They booked their gigs. They're like, okay, fine. You know, I only had so much money. And then they came back, you know, a few years later being like, we'd love to play your venue. I said, well, you had your chance and you canceled it because you got a better offer.
And 100% Billy Sutherland, I've seen it happen from the venue side as well, where they get somebody touring through town and wants to play somewhere and sorry, we're bumping your band. You've only had it scheduled for a year, but we're going to bump you because this national guy is going to play or something. It happens.
I can see that. I can see that. You know, I said to Miss Jackie, because my fear was that she was going to give birth early because she was due 2 weeks after New Year's. It's part of my Marcy. It's part of my get up of being an innocent little bee today.
Bee is the key word.
It's also, this bow tie is actually dog's bow tie.
But wear that? That's what I want.
Yeah. But I said to her, I reached out to her. I said, listen, I am a little nervous, and she agreed. And I said, but this is what I've booked Lita Ford. I would love for you to open. I had 2 options for her. I would love for you to open for her because I am a huge Miss Jackie fan. And I was like, and I don't care if she's pregnant or not, I want her on stage. And I said, but I do have a backup band just in case you can't. And even if you go into birth or whatever, I'm still like, I offered to still give her half of what she was going to pay her, just because I felt like that was the right thing to do. And because I didn't want her to feel jilted. You never, goes back to being a team. I loved having Lita Ford there, but Miss Jackie is my teammate. Miss Jackie plays at my venue like 4 or 5 times a year. She is my priority, and I will make sure that I take care of her because I know she's going to take care of me. And that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying every venue owner does that, but they should.
Thank you, Pearl Street. Joel, if that's you, thank you. I appreciate that. But, you know, Miss Jackie, we got to say congratulations because she had her little girl.
She had a little girl.
She did. And congratulations to she and her lovely hubs. Yeah, they're good people. They are. Yes. And yeah, the venues will, and you can use the term scab. You can use it as loser. You can throw it in there, whatever you want. But basically somebody who's just not who you want to be around and not who you want to associate with. And
there's a lot of those.
So that's an old union term basically for people who would not honor the union and cross picket lines and those kind of things. But that's exactly what it is. If you're not reliable to your people and to the venues, then you need to get out. And that's just it in a nutshell. Let's see what Devin has to say here. Amazing shows with subs. Yeah, it works. You know, you have to sometimes. It's inevitable. Somebody's going to be sick. Somebody's going to have an emergency. Their car is going to break. I've seen people roll in with keyboards because the keyboard player got in a crash on the way there and somebody else gets called and they roll in mid first set and set up and play with the band, and that's cool. You know, and Johnny's saying he's had to cancel a few gigs in 40 years.
Kevin, and, I had that conversation with Miss Jackie about a week and a half prior to New Year's because I only got confirmation of booking Lita Ford about 2 weeks prior. Or no, 3 weeks. So it was like 2 weeks. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Doesn't matter. It's still the right thing to do. So you as a venue owner, let's ask this because that question will come up. Do you care about subs if the guitar player's not a normal guitar player, or you care? Does that bother you? Is it my first choice? No, but my absolute first choice. But I much rather, like, it's not, I love the band that I book. However, if my choice is no band or a sub, I'm taking a sub. And also, sometimes I have had subs that have been so incredible that I want to know where they're from, where they usually play, and I'll book them. Exactly. And, you know, let me say something too. Over the past weekend, I saw our friend TJ with his band Sons of Liberty at Mr. Burroughs Tavern. And his guitar player had been going through a terrible time with chemotherapy and everything else. He's very sick. And his guitar player played first couple sets, and then into the third set, a sub came in and filled in for him because he just couldn't do it anymore. He was worn out. And this guy, sub guy,
This sub guy killed it. He did a great job. And I got to say, I was so worried about DJ Van playing Mr. Burroughs because of the type of crowd that's there is not a hard rock crowd normally, like loud, hard driving metal. And that's all I'd seen TJ do for the most part, other than the jam. He came there and blew me away. He had the best set list. He had a blast with the customers. Customers had a blast. People commenting, this is a great band, all that. So I'm really happy for TJ. How about you?
That is good.
We love him. We do. And that's great. And Marcy, thank you for booking and having faith in bringing somebody over the Mason-Dixon lineup from Cincinnati, as we call it. Sometimes they don't cross-pollinate very well. I see you reading comments. What do you want me to put up? Anything?
I was reading Don Hudson's comment.
I'm trying to find it here.
I want to also say that, I mean, one of my favorite bands had to cancel for a gig in March just recently. And, but the first thing that they said was, I'm so sorry to have to do this, but let me help you find a band. But you've given me enough time. I can find the band. And if I can't, I will come to you. That's all I'm asking. You know what I mean? Like, have an option for me just in case. But Don, what do I got to say to you? You showed up on Friday under the circumstances, and I was blown away by that. I don't know. I love you, buddy. I mean, you're phenomenal. So
absolutely.
He's phenomenal. No, you're not in trouble at all, Don. My heart's with you. I love you, buddy.
And that's dedication to craft right there. It's in its own way. And there are good people out there. I mean, there's some great people out there and great musicians who will do everything in their power to fill a gig if they can't do it. And please,
there's
folks,
TJ, Sons of Liberty, right there.
Yes. Hey, buddy. Please know, as we're talking today, guys, we understand things happen. We do. Both of us, we discussed this. We know you're going to get sick. Things are going to happen. You know, I mean, I can tell you right now, Ceris last Thursday made an appearance on Thursday, I think, and you'd lost a pet. You were in no mood to be there on a Thursday night and interact with a lot of people just because of what happened in your life. But you came in, made your appearance, and then you went home and, you know, did your own kind of grieving and all the things that go on there. And it's the same with musicians. And it's the lame ass excuses that we're talking about today where, you know, it's, oh, I'm feuding with the keyboard, but our two wives are fighting, so we don't want to do the gig tonight. I've heard those, and God, let me go on and on. I've got a list of big reasons why national acts have canceled that are a joke, but you know, they cancel sometimes at the drop of a hat. It hurts the venue, people. It hurts. I mean, it's no different than selling tickets to a game that didn't exist in National Football League. I mean, venues and people, that costs people money. That hurts things.
It really hurts the venues. And I'm just going to say, and again, I'm not talking about every incident, but all those bands that tend to cancel. Under the Sun has a good comment, by the way, if you want to put that up. Because that's a good point, but it hurts the venue. And because I go back to us being a team, it's a selfish act to not even attempt to find a sub. And I know, I get it. It's not going to sound the same. It takes away the authenticity, but I'm telling you right now, most of the people in the audience don't know or don't care. They just want the music. I get that you as a musician, you feel it and you know that it's not the same, but you're really destroying, you're really hurting the venue. And that's all I'm going to say. And yeah, you know what? You're right. Under Tom, I don't know if this is Tom putting that. That's the right thing to do. I agree with you. You could do that. I would never cancel a band for a game. However, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm a music venue. I'm having music on certain nights. That's it.
And it's a shame sometimes that things coordinate that way. It's like New Year's Eve with, you know, national football championships and things going on New Year's Eve, Ohio State game, all those things were happening. And some venues, some smaller venues that are known for their sports, it really hurt. Now, you had a great New Year's Eve. You sold it out and all those. But some people it really hurt and some bands really hurt. Yet, I think the venues took care of them because they had a good night. And let me see what else we've got going here. Under the Sun
is an incredible band, Kara. I learned about them last year. They played last year, and I was blown away. Phenomenal.
And Ken, you needed to come to work with me for 35 years if you want to hear some great excuses for people not coming to work.
That's right, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, even their own employer, but I agree. I know what you're saying. And, I've heard bands use a lot of excuses. They have, and mostly it ends up being a vocal issue or somebody in the band's sick that's a key element of the band and they don't think they can play or fill it with somebody else. And Pearl Street's got no time for canceling. Thank you, Joel. The
show must go on, Sons of Liberty.
And great job, TJ. If you weren't listening earlier, as we were giving you props for your evening at Mr. Burroughs Tavern. Good stuff. Yeah, if you heard the excuses I get. Yeah, I'm sure, Chad. At work, I'm sure you get lots of excuses. I knew a guy once in my line of work whose grandmother died like 7 times. He couldn't come to work. It was awful. And, I said, did your mom have that many husbands? I mean, how does this
how many work? Times does a person die?
Yeah, exactly. But it got to be he forgot his excuses and kept using them. And
liars can't remember the lies they tell because they're so used to lying.
Let's see what else we got here. A few other things. Under the Sun says thanks. And
you're
Patrick
welcome.
Witt. What's that?
I said you're welcome.
Yes. And Bob Weber's throwing a topic, overexposure of bands. Interesting. That'll go on the list. Put that on.
That's actually a pretty good topic when they oversaturate themselves.
Yes.
Bands and solo. It can really do damage.
But I'm so glad to hear you say that you work something out with them if you have to cancel or something
Absolutely.
like that. I think that's a wonderful thing to say, do. And, like I said, I feel for our friends like at Froggy's. She's had, and it's different and there's no rhyme or reason to it, but she's had several bands cancel on her, like on Wednesday for a Friday gig. And that's awful. I mean, because she's working, Stacy's working that bar. She's doing everything she can do. She didn't have time to mess with that. She booked this out months in advance,
Right.
When she had time. What else we got? Marcy said she's canceled music for football. Yeah, it is a fine line. You're one of those. And I think of New Year's Eve at your place. Courtney Joe's band was there and it was just, it was a football crowd and you feel bad for the band when that happens.
But she did the right thing. She paid the band. That's what I do, Marcy. Yeah. That's the right thing to do. I agree with you. Like, you're a sports bar. Like I get it. I wouldn't, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't cancel a band for music. But man, I think Marcy and I could be best friends. I like the way she thinks.
Marcy, she rules with iron fist. She does, but
I like
she does a good job. Mojo Rising, there we go. Throwing that in there.
Oh, I didn't know you had a sub. You guys were great. I mean, the crowd and that's what I'm talking about. The crowd loved them. And because of that night, I booked them for another show and they had a sub. Hello. Thank you, Will.
I'm listening. I'm looking. All right. Don said they play with subs a lot because there's so many of them. Yeah, it's going to happen. I mean, it's not like a 2-piece act, man. That's a big band. And thank you, Lee, for throwing that in about Marcy. Lee Dixon from the Kevin McCoy Band and various projects. And yeah, I mean, what do we got here? Jamie Combs says if we could handle both Marcy and Karis hooking up. Yeah, well, you never know what may happen.
I mean, I don't know what kind of hooking up you're talking about, but nobody can handle that.
Oh my. Yes. Shane says you and Marcy would get along good. What Shane said. Bingo. Okay, there we go. Well, have we beat this horse today? What do you think?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Chris, going back to Chris's comment where the band, they were booked for New Year's at a certain price. And then the venue came back and like, well, we're not going to pay you that price.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I've seen that happen.
Then we're not going to play because you made an agreement. Like I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I know a pretty good size venue who is notorious at times for negotiating at the end of the night if the crowd wasn't as big as they thought it would be when the band's like, we agreed to this price, dude. You know,
See, that's not right. I give a base. I start at a base, and then I give more based on the numbers. If the numbers are great, I'm going to give you more money. I did that to Mojo Rising. I don't know if he got the Venmo, but I send him more money because the numbers were great. They were good. You know, I go by a percentage. That's not right. That goes back to that's not classy for a venue to do that. And I wouldn't work with them. That's shady to me. That's shady as shit, actually.
Absolutely. Aaron Thomas is crying right now. There we go. Jamie, there was your rim shot. So yeah, we've got to wrap this up. We've been on 40 minutes, but we got to wrap it up today. Great topic.
Showing up late is not okay. Do you show up late for your other job?
No,
this is a job.
But, you know, there are some who they're supposed to play at 7:30 and, you know, at 8 o'clock, they haven't played yet.
I mean, I do ish because I'm heavy on the ish because I like to go by the vibe, but you don't get to decide the vibe. You know, I get to decide the vibe. Well,
you know, when you've got a gig at 7:30 and you roll in at 7:28 and you got to set your equipment up and get tuned up and all that, that's not what is appropriate. That's a whole other show in itself. But everybody, thank you so much for all the comments today. And certainly want to thank you all for being with us and sharing this show and making it as popular as it has become. And for those of you out there who are
thanks, Dewey.
In the world, thank you, Dewey. Those who are in the world of being haters of what we do, please start your own show. We would not mind that at all. In fact, we'd probably be guests on it and listen. But we'd love to hear your opinions. So if you're watching after we're live, please drop some opinions in there. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think of the bow in Ceris's hair today.
Would you like me to continue that look and maybe not speak? I don't know if you noticed, but I barely cursed this time around.
Am I
a freaking angel?
Happy? Am I happy about that? Can I tell you
how happy I
am about that?
Are you all happy that I didn't curse? There's my bow tie.
I'll put that up in the corner, that parental advisory.
I didn't even use it.
I know you were very good today, and I appreciate it. You're going to keep us on the air for one more week, I think, which is good. It is. So, for all of you who have joined us today, we appreciate it. And
James Banks isn't happy. I'm sorry you're not happy, James. What can
Why are you not happy, Banks? What's going on, man?
What can we do with you, James? Do you need a hug?
How can we make you feel better? Next time I see Banks, I'm going to hug him. I am. I'll give him a big old haul around town hug.
Give us an F-bomb to close. Oh, Pearl Street.
Hey, if that's Joel, love you. If that's Joel, they have a great podcast called the It List Podcast, and you want to hear some fun stuff, tune into that on all platforms podcast and find them. It List, IT List.
Fuckers are amazing. I love you all.
I knew she'd have to do it at some point today. For sure. You do you, girl. You're amazing.
I'm going to do me, James. I love you. Thank you, boo, boo.
Yes. Thank you, Under the Sun. Thank you all for being here. I thank you for your animation today, Ceris.
You're welcome.
You're lovely. But we do want to give a big shout out again to Heath and Shane, who are playing at O'Leary's Pub back-to-back nights. Check that out on the pages if
both
you will.
Awesome humans.
And I wanted to throw that one in there. And what do we got tomorrow? Oh, I've got whatever Wednesday coming your way tomorrow. Tune in for that. We'll be recapping some other things that we've done. And then Thursday, Who's Playing Out? Brought to you by Fry's in Monroe, Ohio. What do we got?
Same, Marcy, same. So I'm talking to Marcy. I think Marcy and I do the same thing. We take care of our bands. We get it.
People like to play her place. They like to play your place. That's for sure.
We get it because I think she knows we're a team. It's a team effort.
She's let the cat out of the bag now, though, so I'm going to be expecting trivia bonus. That's all there is to it. Because, you know, it's quiz-tastic. It is. Thank you, Shane DeMoss, Aaron Thomas. Thank you so much. I know he's showing up for the jam Thursday night. I saw that.
This Thursday jam is going to be incredible. Honestly, I know we don't want to talk about the B&B, but whatever. It's going to be incredible, and it's going to be off the fucking hook. So you got to come and join us.
Shameless plug for the B&B. Yes. And yes, thank you, Jay Combs. Thank you all. We're getting out of here, Karis. Let's get out. You ready?
Yeah,
Let's
I'm ready to
everybody.
dance us out of here.
You want to dance? Let's throw some
dance.
There you go. A little tropical dance.
You could have come up with some better like exit music, dude.
Are you dogging on me again?
Sure am.
Let's do this. Let's do some rock.
Yeah.
This is our friend Benny Bodine. It's called Next to Nowhere.
Don't be late, Jamie Combs.
Yes. And show up for your gig, Jamie.
He doesn't cancel on me.
He knows not to cancel on you. He'd get his ass kicked. Yes.
I think all my power went out. Oh no, my dog unplugged my light.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Everybody.
Hit the share button, people.
When it's over, not divides today. When there's nothing left.